Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The single best idea on a Fed day, I think more than any other Fed day that we've done in the morning, we had less conversation on the Fed. It's just the confusion that's out there and this keyword uncertainty. We covered it yesterday. I'll be honest, I can't remember the guest, but we had a brilliant discussion of Knightian uncertainty. Knightian, K-N-I-G-H-T. Knightian uncertainty is Frank Knight, 1921. It was his thesis, I believe, at Chicago a million years ago. And it's a rite of passage. You have to read the thing. It's my recollection, it's 40, 50, 60 pages. But you have to read his thesis on Knightian uncertainty, which is sort of a reachable, touchable uncertainty, even though you can't see or touch the uncertainty, is a simple way to put it. That's where we are right now, particularly given the trade war. A lot of good conversations today. We started strong. Huge response. Thank you so much out on YouTube to Mike Green, 5-star Morningstar, high yield fund. Mike Green with a lot of really good discussions about active versus passive. Here's Mike Green on your retirement choice.
The quick answer is there is no right percentage, right? It's going to depend on everyone's individual component. The key thing that I would highlight is that when you think about investing for retirement, when you think about those, focus on what you need, not what your neighbor wants. Right? And this is a really key component. We tend to get ourselves caught up in the FOMO type framework. We're in an environment in which you can, if you're worried about inflation, you can buy real yielding tips with a positive yield for the first time in over a decade, right? That is something that I would argue people are ignoring. I would broadly suggest that fixed income in a lot of ways, because it has what I refer to as endogenous liquidity, significant coupon payments and an ultimate payment at maturity, has very different characteristics than the Ponzi-like characteristics associated with equities, where you are always getting your value from what somebody else pays. And so those are ways that you can separate yourselves. They're not immune. I have to be clear, this is a systemic issue, but they are a better way to think about the opportunity.
The forever debate about the certain cash flows of fixed income versus a less certain equity world. Mike Green there. Frances Donald is with RBC Capital Markets. She gave us a traditional Fed coverage as best as she could. Here's Frances Donald of RBC on our labor economy.
The nature of this job market is changing. We have the most amount of those over the age of 65 the U.S. has ever seen. Over 1 in 5 Americans is over the age of 65. Most amount of retirees ever. And so economists are scratching their head. Why are higher rates down, but also fire rates down and quit rates down? This is a job market that is acclimating to a demographic bust that's occurring in real time. Now, demographics are traditionally something that you look at when you're 5 or 10-year forecasts, when you're forced to do something that difficult. They're not something we take the here and now. And this is why when I talk about uncertainty, a lot of folks are saying we're going to get more certainty on trade in the coming week. But a lot of the customers, a lot of the folks that we talk to in the United States are also paying very close attention to immigration policies that come through and how this government is going to support or not support what is a very shifting labor dynamic. Now, Federal Reserve is going to have to talk about this at some point, probably not today, when they're looking at something like a high 4s unemployment rate, and that's going to be enough for them to start cutting.
Just brilliant. Frances Donald there on what the media doesn't talk about enough, which is demographic economics. Angus Madison own the high ground on this. I really can't, and Robert Fogel, I believe at University of Pennsylvania, the laureate. I really can't say enough how we ignore at our peril the demographics, the makeup of any society, whether it's China or the U.S., whatever. But that was just brilliant. Frances Donald there on an aging America. We're out on YouTube, some real benchmarks today for us. Thank you so much for subscribing to Bloomberg podcasts out on YouTube. It is the foundation of our future. Really appreciate that. And out on YouTube podcasts, it's the single best idea.